We all collectively spend hours and hours on the web trap of the internet. There's no doubt that the internet is the 21st century digital marketplace phenomena. But have you ever thought of becoming a billionaire just because of the internet? Well, there's someone who exactly did that in the 90s. In this video, we'll be narrating the story of how Mark Cuban made his first $1 billion. There are currently 630 billionaires in the United States of America, and Mark Cuban is one of them. According to Forbes, his net worth is $4.3 billion and Cuban ranks 177th in the Forbes 400 list. His colossal amassed wealth is credited to the two business decisions he took in the dot-com bubble era when investments in internet-based companies of the US were at a peak. But Cuban's entrepreneurial roots go back to his childhood. Seems like the billionaire had an insight as a college student that one day he's going to be the entrepreneurial wonder. Cuban was born to middle-class Russian and Romanian immigrants in a Jewish household in Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania. Like every other billionaire, Cuban has that one talisman of the story which is the foundation of his billionaire life today. And you'll be surprised to know, Cuban was just 12 years old. While talking to Bloomberg's Masters in Business podcast, Cuban narrated the story that practically changed his life. As a 12-year-old kid, he asked his dad for an expensive new pair of sneakers. That's something any 12-year-old kid would ask for, if you've asked for it. His father's response is the true talisman for Cuban. His father responded with, "Those shoes on your feet look like they're working pretty well. If you want a new pair of sneakers, you need a job and you can go buy them." Sounds pretty harsh for a father of a 12-year-old, but this moment was life-changing for Cuban. He discovered his natural salesman expertise when he started to sell $3 packs of garbage bags for $6. That's double the price, and guess what? He was pretty successful in his neighborhood area. Cuban started off his pitches by asking, "Hi, does your family use garbage bags?" He'd follow that with, "Of course you use garbage bags, and I bet you pay more than 6 cents a piece." Another moment of entrepreneurial enlightenment came at the raw age of 16 for Cuban. The local newspaper agencies of his hometown went on a strike, which gave a new business opportunity to Cuban. You see, success is a measure of exploiting opportunities, after all. He knew that people were invested in news enough to buy his slightly overpriced newspaper from other cities. So, Cuban exploited exactly that. He started to export newspapers from neighboring cities and sold them in his neighborhood until the strike was over. Cuban decided to pursue a degree in business administration from Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana. Whereas our college life consists of winging the last-minute assignments or terrible social skills, Cuban was a force to be reckoned with. Not only did he give dancing classes on campus for a hefty $25 per hour, Cuban and his friends started to arrange thrilling disco parties at a nearby bar. Eventually, the party gang ended up buying the bar for $15,000, just as mere college students. A professor at Indiana University described the move as one of its very kind, as it was pretty rare for college students to own a successful business. Cuban turned the bar business into a successful local venture, which was popular among college students. But he absolutely didn't stop there. After graduating in 1981, Cuban started to look for companies to make his battleground for opportunistic exploitation. Now equipped with a remarkable degree from one of the best business schools in America, Cuban decided to seek a job that met his interest and credentials. Soon enough, Cuban landed a banking job. But like every other college student, he was too crushed under the burden of student loans. Unsatisfied with his life and due to the low-level opportunities in the city, Cuban decided to move to Texas. Recalling his life before Texas, Cuban narrated, and we quote, "I remember being 24 years old, living in Dallas in a 3-bedroom apartment with 5 other friends. I didn't have my own bedroom. I slept on the couch or floor, depending on what time I got home." So now, at least we know that once the mighty Mark Cuban lived an average college student life. The Texan life wasn't so great for Cuban initially. He was fired from his software house job within a year. Unemployment and frustration over being fired gave Cuban a new fire of hope to do something of his own. So, of course, Cuban opened his own software company that gave his previous employer a run for his money. He fostered his company called Micro Solutions, making his first venture after graduation. However, Cuban sold Micro Solutions for a small fortune of $6 million. You won't believe what happened next. He took it as his cue to retire to live a life of the party. He bought a lifetime American Airlines pass and just traveled to every nook and corner of the world. Cuban was all about that millionaire life. Cuban's retirement was short-lived, and he was soon aching to get back into business. Around 1995, Cuban's restlessness was making him livid and desperate. He was ferociously looking for new ventures to fund or re-scrap to give them a new life. Are you guys familiar with the famous Paulo Coelho quote from his book, The Alchemist? That when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it? The opportunity paved its way for Mark Cuban under the name of Christopher Jabe. Jabe, like Cuban, was also in the leagues to make a successful business. He approached Cuban with a business pitch of making an online platform or a service that streams various sporting events. Within a few minutes of the pitch, Cuban was easily sold, and he invested $10,000 right there and then. The company was set to call AudioNet, and it was soon going to be the billion-dollar decision, quite literally. In 1998, Cuban and his partner, Todd Wagner, bought the most business shares of AudioNet to rename it as Broadcast.com, the first ever internet radio site in the world. In the same year, Broadcast.com went public with its initial public offering, aka IPO. And you're not going to believe this. The very same day, most of the Broadcast.com employees became millionaires. The stock price soared to a stellar $62.50 from an $18 price point. Broadcast.com was later acquired by Yahoo for a spectacular figure of $5.6 billion. That was also the point when Cuban began to notice the end of the dot-com era, so he expertly decided to liquidate his Yahoo shares to guard his wealth. Around this time, Cuban was more interested in investing in real-time assets. In a surprising turn of events, Cuban bought the Dallas Mavericks for the sum of $285 million. And initially, the idea seemed like a complete flop because the Mavericks weren't exactly the best in the NBA. But the Mavericks had their own Mark Cuban miracle. By the next decade, they played 2 NBA Finals, and of course, they won the championship in 2011. Mark Cuban is one of the most active owners in the NBA franchise and has earned a lot of praise for his community-based efforts in Dallas. According to Forbes, Dallas Mavericks have the value of $2.4 billion as of 2020. As Cuban invested a colossal $70 million practice facility for the team, the price value of the Mavericks is bound to increase in 2021. Cuban hasn't exactly limited his wealth to himself. He's famously known for his shark role in the hit reality TV show called Shark Tank. Within just 8 years of his joining, Cuban has invested around $20 million in 80 small business ventures. He's also a huge advocate for financial independence and has helped multiple people to achieve financial independence by paying off their debts and depositing 6 months of income in their banks. We're going to leave you with one dynamic quote that reflects the work ethic of Mark Cuban in his own words. He once famously said, "Work like there is someone working 24 hours a day to take it all away from you." Which aspect of Mark Cuban's journey to be a billionaire has inspired you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.